everyone. Again, this is Julie the Recruiter. So this presentation is called The Heart of the Matter, and it's about great dialogue with a potential client. This presentation is going to be all about probing, because like everyone knows, when you're calling into a client or you're talking to a client, it's not about you, it's about them. And they pretty much just care about themselves, not about you. That's the truth. So you got to ask a lot of good questions up front. It's like dating. If you don't ask up front, you're going to be in trouble later. That's the truth. You don't have to do it with every client. You only have to do it with the ones that you feel like you want to be there for a long time. Because some people, they may just need one person and you're never going to talk to them again. So only do it with the people that you feel are really worth your time. Because if you're going to be making around 50 calls a day, you can't spend 30 minutes on the phone with everyone. The next point that he had was about insight. Anybody can do it. Any rookie, I think, can ask for insight. It's pretty easy. You just have to ask open-ended questions. The next thing is thorough qualification. You got to realize who you're talking to. Okay, so if you're talking to like a CEO or a CFO, you got to realize that they're just going to see the broad spectrum of things. They're just going to be seeing the goals of the company. For management, they're going to be seeing what's the problem. So when you're talking to somebody from management, you got to ask them, what are your problems? The next one is individual. You know, if you're talking to a recruiter, you got to ask them, what are your needs? What needs do you have? It's like, you know, I'm spending 8 hours a day trying to find this one person, I can't find them. So that's the type of question that you need to ask them. The next one is organizational insights. How would that person see it? Understand that everyone has a different perspective. The value of asking questions cannot be overemphasized. This is a kind of a psychological thing. You can actually guide someone's thought process by the type of questions you ask them. So just like they say, the type of questions you ask, you're going to be the one who's in control of the conversation. The next thing is, it's important how you ask the question. For instance, if you have a child and they come back home from school, you can either say, what did you learn in school today? Or you can say, what did you like best about school today? There's a big difference. Another example of a probing question is, you can either ask them, so, are you the decision maker? Or you can say, who in addition to yourself also makes decisions?
Nice. I like that.
And another good example that he kind of used, and it's just kind of to put a picture in your mind, when you're doing the selling process, this is the type of the shape it starts out like this, and it ends in a point. So you're going to be asking open-ended questions, then you're going to start to narrow it, and then you're going to end it in a close. So I thought that was pretty good, in case if you don't know how to kind of gear the conversation. Probing is kind of like a music phrase. Obviously, you're not going to listen to a song that just has one note. So you got to put multiple notes in it, and that's going to make it more interesting. The same thing, you're not going to ask, you can't ask all open-ended questions because then you don't know, then it looks like you don't know what you're talking about. So you do have to have somewhat of a point to where you're going. So mix it up, pretty much. The next thing is just a couple of questions. This is kind of very analytical, but this is going to give you a good idea of some examples that you should ask a client. And this is more of a consultative type question, so this would be good for like, you know, a government client. So questions you can ask are, how are you measured in your role? What are your goals for the next quarter? How do your goals differ this year as opposed to last year? How will you manage the success of your program over time? How will you identify if the objectives have been met? What would the specific metrics be? And these are questions, the next ones are questions to kind of ask an individual person, someone that has the need, maybe like the recruiter. What is keeping you from meeting all of your recruiting goals? Again, these are all open-ended questions. What do you personally see as the most challenging part of achieving those goals. What pressures are you under personally? Again, he's kind of keeping everything personal so they feel comfortable. The next one are needs analysis questions. What key resources need to be in place that are currently lacking in your organization? What are the most critical positions that you need to fill now? And the last thing is, after you're done asking them all these questions and you're qualifying, you need to ask them what the selling points are to your company, because you still have to close the candidate. And that's all.